Produced by Podcast Architects.
Welcome back to another episode of The Path Forward. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Rick Fernandez, and I've got two rock stars in the making joining me here at TASA Midwinter. I've got Dr. Daryl Henson from Marlin ISD.
Glad to be here.
And new Superintendent Brian Taulton from
Cold Spring Oakhurst.
Oakhurst.
CISD. Yes,
there you go. So we are excited to have both of y'all. As you know, we're going to talk about innovation, anything great that's happening in the schools. But first, we got to kick off with, since we're in Austin, I'll let you start with the first question, because you are a Longhorn, and I know it's painful.
Proud to be here in my city.
To have to sit in this maroon and all of this other stuff, but
hurts a little bit.
So, what are you looking for next season with Longhorn football? I know I'm going off track, but I just got to ask since we're in Austin.
I'm looking forward to a national championship.
Oh.
Right now, Coach Sarkisian has done a phenomenal job with the recruiting of young talent here to the 40 acres. So unless we're sitting in the national championship, it's going to be a wasted season.
How long do you give them as an alum?
3 years.
3 years? Okay.
And 3 years because by that time you've had 3 classes come in. And of course in Texas, we do get the cream of the crop.
Right.
So you should always be able to cultivate and take that talent to the next level. So 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Win 25.
Okay. What are your thoughts about resuming the rivalry with A&M?
I think it's important for the state of Texas.
I agree.
And that's why going back to the SEC is going to ensure that happens. But we know A&M will always be the little brother of Texas. Look, don't blame me. Just blame the way it happens.
Oh, Lord.
Because you cannot have A&M without Texas
I'm losing
in the
subscribers
name.
as we sit here. Just
So
unsubscribing.
to all my Longhorns out there, let's look forward to the rivalry again. But understand, big brother will always prevail.
All right, let's talk innovation and education before they cancel me off of YouTube for all of that talk. Let's start with our newest superintendent. Talk to me about your school district. What are the great things that are happening?
I guess first and foremost, I've been able to do a lot of recruiting as far as moving some pieces with staff. I was able to hire an assistant superintendent. That's phenomenal. When I first got there, I hired a new high school and junior high principal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as well. I also did some shifting at my elementary and intermediate campus. And so it's been also just hired a new chief of police. So I have I've been able to kind of acquire my own little cabinet essentially for the most part.
Excellent. So
I've been very excited about that, obviously. And that's been, like I said, the main pieces, just really getting, and I always tell people, as superintendents, you can't do it all, but you always want to get people in the right seats.
Absolutely.
And that's critical because you can't do everything.
Yeah, your team is what's going to drive the work, right? You're the leader, you're the face, you're directing traffic, but you got to have the team to execute. That's awesome. So give us a little bit more about your background. So I know you're in Cold Spring, but where did you?
So originally I started teaching maybe 2006, 2007 in Fort Bend ISD.
Okay. So you're a Houston guy?
Houston guy. I grew up in the Houston area.
Nice.
I graduated from Jack Yates High School.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. So taught Fort Bend ISD for 5 years. I left there and went to Spring Branch as an assistant principal.
Okay.
And then from there, I went small, all the way to a small 3A school district in Hardin, which is in Liberty County. Mm-hmm. I was there first year junior high principal, second year high school principal. I started my second year as high school principal, and I was also the assistant superintendent. Then left and went to Goodrich ISD, which is right up 59. You blink, you'll miss it literally. I don't know what the population is there, maybe 250 people, small 1A district, no football team, just basketball. So I did that for roughly almost 3 years. That district, as I mentioned, is 1A. We had about 250 students. And then left there, and I've been in Cold Spring Oakhurst as a superintendent since July.
Awesome.
So
go ahead.
So it just went roughly from about 250 students, and Cold Spring now has roughly about 1,600.
Very cool. Yeah. So Doc, let me get your perspective. I'm going to kick it back over to you. So smaller districts, right? We're all kind of guys that have gone to smaller districts. Would you agree that you learn more because essentially a lot of the work, you're doing multiple jobs. Whereas larger districts, there's divisions, departments, your chiefs that do certain things, but you get your hands on. I mean, is that how you feel kind of from in Marlin a little bit?
I have really appreciated being in a small school district because we have to be familiar with and essentially monitor everything.
Yep.
From curriculum to the air and the tires. And I always say, if the corn is not hot, then it's my fault.
Right.
So in a small school district, not only curriculum and instruction, but that operational side and finance side is critical, and you get to learn and touch it all.
Agree. Has that been your experience so far?
Absolutely. Spot on to what Dr. Henson said. I mean, you learn a lot because you have to do the same thing the large school district superintendent have to do with less personnel.
I think that's great, and then you guys have the same mind, like trying to understand all of it. You touch every piece of it. That's It'll serve you well down the road because you're going to have to at least know what you need to hire as a chief.
To ensure that the corn is hot.
That's right. Where did you get that? You always got something.
No, because I have to make sure, because one time I got a complaint about the corn not being hot.
Oh, this is a true story?
True story.
Okay,
everything I say is true. Nothing I say is made up. And I said, yes, ma'am. I will ensure that the corn is hot. And since that day, it's piping hot.
We serve our parents. We serve at the pleasure of the board and our parents and our communities. So I understand. Let's talk innovation. What are you most excited about for the future of education in general? Not necessarily even your districts, but broader than that. What are you seeing? What are you excited about? Where do you think the job market's going to force us to go with our skill sets?
So I'm very optimistic about the STAR redesign.
Really? Okay.
So for instance, right now, let's put away accountability and let's just talk about the actual assessment. From what I've read about it, and our job is to also be an optimist.
Right.
If we were just overly negative, then why be in education? It's going to focus in more on the interconnection of content areas and subjects. So writing will be assessed across the curriculum. True reading skills will be assessed across the curriculum, as well as other content areas. Knowing this, how we now have to instruct our children might have to change slightly, but it's going to prepare them for a better world. You don't ever work anything in silos. Everything that you do will draw from your experiences and knowledge base that you've experienced throughout your entire life.
Yeah, and I mean, just like what Dr. Hinton has stated, I mean, we're all anxious to kind of see what's going to be a part of this new STAR redesign. Obviously, this year, they've done away with the writing standalone in 4th and 7th grade.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in terms of it being embedded, so where they have the short answer response starting next year. But then also next year, all of your STAR assessments are going to be online.
Yep.
And then I think in 2024, I saw an article that I believe SAT is going to be online.
Yes, you're correct. College Board.
You start looking at innovation and, like I said, technology and how technology is advancing so quickly. And so just those different things, which is going to continue to shift how kids are taught. Like we talk about this all the time. Dr. Hinton and I are probably two of the youngest superintendents in the state. And so you have a situation now to where our kids that are in our classrooms are exposed to technology no later than the ages of 1 or 2 years old.
That's right. Yeah, mine can do that. Like they can do that.
Do it all.
Yeah.
So the teachers have to be equipped and understand that and know that our kids really are, like I said, also they are, from a teaching and learning standpoint, use that to our advantage, knowing that our kids are very technology savvy. And now you have your assessment. So right now what we're doing is we're shifting. And so we have our curriculum-based assessments that we give every 6 weeks. And I've been talking with my staff already, to make sure we have enough technology to have kids test next year.
Right.
But then also to say, okay, when we do our CBAs next year, we either do them online. We want to mirror and mimic exactly what's going to be happening when they take the actual real thing. That way it's not foreign. Like, oh, okay, well, nobody trained us for this. So those are just some of the things we're just looking at because we'll continue to be on this technology shift. Just like with your SPEC evaluation. When I took my exams early on in my career, special ed principal, it was on paper. Superintendent was the first exam that I took online.
Yep.
And so now all of your SPEC tests, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say the vast majority of them, if not all, are now done online. So just embracing that.
Yeah, I think, obviously we're not going to go backwards, right? No. So it's only
not.
No, so our kids are going to have that skill set.
However, I will go on the record. I kind of miss quarantine.
Why do you miss quarantine?
We can go back. That was the first time that a lot of us got a chance, a break, a different kind of break. Because I probably worked harder and longer from home, but the break of not having to drive into the office every single day and being able to, let's say, sleep in for an additional 30 minutes because my drive time was cut down. So I kind of want to go back to quarantine.
I would say check with your married colleagues on that one to see.
That is true. I'm not married.
I'm messing with you.
I had a good time.
With the kids and everybody at the house at the same time. And hey, man, 3rd grade math is no punk. I will just tell you, I joke about that, but there's a very specific way that teachers wanted it done, and I'm looking like, man, I don't know. I just would probably Google that. I shouldn't be telling my son. There's like, man, I'll just probably Google that answer. My wife is like, no, what are you doing? Like, that's not how. Of course, she worked at this school, so I'm just like, all right, I am not equipped to teach third grade math. So God bless all the teachers that are making that adjustment. It's been crazy. Let me ask you this. If you were not in education, what would you be doing? Doc, I'll let you go first.
I've thought about this a lot. If I was not in education, I would be a sports agent. Because I'm still all about people.
Okay.
And how do I represent you, your name, your brand, your image, your likeness to maximize your earning potential and your personal potential in yourself? And that's the role of a sports agent, consultant, attorney.
Should they pay the kids in college?
I think they should.
I agree.
They should pay the kids college because how much money are they bringing into the university?
I agree.
They might be amateurs, but last time I checked and I bought a ticket to a game, it was on the amateur price. It was a very professional price. And
yeah.
I was not.
It was a UT game?
It was a UT game.
Okay.
And I was not going to watch the coach or the president of the university. I was going to watch those student athletes participate. So they should have an opportunity to get a piece of the pie.
I agree, and that's a controversial topic, but I agree 100%. You're gonna make a ton of money off kids, and they need to,
get something.
Absolutely. And the argument that, well, they're getting a free education. No, they're earning that education. There's a whole lot that has to be sacrificed.
5 o'clock in the morning for practice.
It's not just given. So I got off on a tangent there. What would you be doing, Brian? What would you be doing?
That's an interesting one. When I think about it, I at one point I wanted to do work in sports medicine, like physical therapy.
Okay.
At one point, that's the only one that kind of jumps off the page. I knew, and I always exceeded well in school, and so I knew that doing this work and being a superintendent, being a school administrator, was my calling, my passion. So, but I had looked, and I was a science major in college. I majored in biology, so I was interested at one point in doing like sports
biology.
Yeah. Sports medicine and doing physical therapy. So maybe that.
Clearly, he would have to help us with the.
Yes. I would not major in biology.
Couldn't do it. I didn't even know if I took biology at all in college, to be honest with you.
I don't think I did.
So, yeah, that ain't up my alley. Job market. Kids are coming out. We're trying to get them certifications. We're trying to give them options. In your area or even beyond your area, what do you see a focus needs to be for your school districts in terms of certification preparation if they're going into the job market? Anything?
Yes. So I kind of say it's twofold. Yes, we can look for specific certifications for certain industries. However, it goes back to your third grade math example. We have no idea the way things are going to look 10 years from now, 5 years from now, or 20 years from now. But it's all about a mindset of thinking. We need to shift our education practices to where we're teaching children how to become independent thinkers. And as cliche as that sounds, and as long as it's been said, it has not happened.
Yep.
So I don't know, how do we crack the code to make our students just be able to rationalize and have logic? Because you will come out there in the world and you will see plenty of grown people who say and do the most irrational things, are so illogical, and cannot think for themselves. That is my big push, just teaching thinking.
Nail on the head.
To piggyback off that.
No, you don't have to go with him.
Yeah, and I would say the biggest thing, what I'm looking at in my district, is really looking at our CTE programs, looking at different offerings. Right now, I graduated from high school in 2001. And the only route I knew coming out of high school was to go to college.
Yep.
That was the only option. But right now, you have so many different avenues and so many jobs that did not even exist in 2001 now that are out there that need to be explored also. And we talk about this, and I just talk openly. You have so many different vocations, plumbers, electricians, people that go into construction, welding. Like, for example, just think about if the three of us that are sitting on this panel had a plumbing company over the last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
How well off we would be right now.
Been in a beach somewhere.
That's right. So just looking at those different options. And the biggest thing is making sure, students are prepared when they leave the district for whatever option they have out there. They have those options, and they're prepared for those. They don't have to go the 4-year, route or whatever the case may be. They can go to a vocational school. We have lots of kids, especially in districts like Dr. Henson's and mine, that will explore a CTE career path.
Yep, and I think we do some of them a disservice by saying college is the only option. You're going there and acquiring a mountain of debt, and then getting out and don't have a path to go earn for your family. That worries me.
I totally agree.
And the one thing on CTE that I've been harping on is we've got to do a better job of branding.
That's right.
Because it's hard to sell HVAC. It's hard to sell because kids don't have a frame of reference. Usually they're in that industry because they got a family member, they have had a mentor, but us coming and saying, hey, this is a great career because you earn X amount of money. To us, that sounds great. Maybe to a parent, that sounds great. But to a kid, it could be, but I don't even know what HVAC means, So I think that's a big piece of it is not only do we have to have the right programming, but you've got to have the right marketing and the right kind of mentorship, apprenticeship so that kids get engaged in it. Because it's hard to sell that. And our parents still think of CTE maybe like we experienced where it's like wood shop or it's like something that, you know what I mean? That's not it. Like there's a whole, go to auto tech class now, oh my goodness. Yeah. It's all digital and it's got...
The game has completely changed, but I think we hit it. We have to shift our mindset that college is not the only route. Right. It is a way, but not the way.
Right.
And so our children need to not be shamed. Because for a while, they were being shamed for not going to college.
There's a stigma.
I am the proponent of just become a great citizen.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a great next door neighbor than an astrophysicist who was not a great next door neighbor.
That's doing experiments blowing up my backyard.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it doesn't matter if you go to college or not, but can you take care of yourself and take care of your family? And if that means a trade, then let it be a trade. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneur, lawyer, whatever the case may be. But I totally agree with you on the notion of college cannot be the only route to living a productive life.
Because I think if you ask the industry, they would tell you, I need kids that have skills and they're coachable. Yep. Right? And
can they think?
Yep.
That's right.
Did they go to school where the corn was hot?
That's going to stay with me that you said that now. But you said that's. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's something that you're trying to fix on a daily basis. Yes. And that day was the corn. Brian, you were going to say something you wanted to add to?
Well, no. I mean, just what we were talking about. I mean, the biggest thing is really options. Your post-secondary options that are out there, and just letting kids know there are other options that are out there. But my biggest thing and my push in my district is also not just going, but it is successfully completing that program. If you're going to school to be an electrician, earn those credentials. Don't just learn all this information and you can go and work.
Get to the hardware.
That is correct. So get your credentials that go along with that vocation.
And that's some people just go to school to be a Q.
That's right.
Like, did you graduate?
Yep.
What you barking for?
Yeah. It's a balance of, if I can get you for this, let me see if I can get you there. You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes we're with our athletes, they come to school to play ball and then everything else is secondary. And so, hey, I'm going to use that to leverage, but I need you to get this and here's all the reasons why,
that's right.
To get them there. All right, throw one at y'all. You got one movie to watch for the rest of your life. It's the only movie you could ever watch.
Damn.
You can't do TV, no Netflix, nothing. What are you going with and why?
That's tough. Okay.
I'm trying to think.
So, a movie that gets watched again and again. So basically, it's like I Am Legend. It's the only thing I have to watch on TV.
That's it. You can't do YouTube, nothing. Like if you even on your phone, you gotta.
I would probably have to roll with Aladdin.
Who?
Aladdin. Yes. Aladdin was a classic.
Oh, man.
Jasmine, first of all, was a dime piece.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Boo, you always need that homeboy on your side.
Send your comments to marlinisd. Henson.
I'm just saying. And just the overall story, you have a genie, you're rubbing on things, and then they're flying on carpet.
Okay.
I could watch that again and again. And it's also a story of a true come-up.
Okay, I
started from the bottom.
Okay, yeah.
And now we got him a dime piece.
I could see that.
And the monkey. Aladdin.
Brian,
I've been
pick us up off that one.
I've been over here contemplating. I'm trying to decide on a movie that I can watch over and over again. That's a tough one. Oh, man. I'm thinking here. My mind is kind of racing.
Well, I'll go with my number 2 option. Okay, why he's so thinking about that?
Go ahead. You go ahead. I'm trying to think. But while I'm thinking, go ahead.
The Lion King.
What is with the Disney stuff?
But we're saying it has to be one again and again and again.
Right.
Same sort of issue. It's just a great story of friends, family, singing. Now, it does have some drama in there, and everyone did shed a tear or two during The Lion King, but it's a story of a come-up. I like the come-up stories.
I see that.
I think I've come up. I think I've
Fire
I
away.
have one.
Please.
Probably Remember the Titans.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That
Really
seems
all
like a normal choice.
all around, just great, phenomenal movie with a great message.
Yeah.
Great message.
That is a great
So that will probably be the one that I can watch over and over again.
I go Few Good Men just for that scene between Nicholson and Tom Cruise. Like, that one is like, nobody's above the truth. At the end of the day, no matter what you do, nobody's above the truth.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, before we get out of here, what shout-outs do you have? Do you want to shout out anybody back in your district, board members, what have you? I guess I threw you on the spot when I say board members, right?
No, definitely, I do have the best board in the state of Texas, so I do really want to give a shout-out to the Marlin community, our Marlin teachers, because what they're doing in today's time of education is phenomenal. I don't know if I could do it, but to see them come to work every single day with just a spirit of excellence and a mindset of you will learn. We're not going to make any excuses, but we're also going to understand the needs that you might have.
Yeah.
And just my parents. Shout out to Anita and Charles Henson. I don't think I ever shout them out. My mom for keeping me fly as a baby.
Oh, Lord.
And my daddy just for the mindset of keep pushing and keep going.
Brian, what you got?
First and foremost, want to definitely shout out my board, obviously for entrusting me with the opportunity to lead.
Absolutely.
My district and faculty and staff. I want to shout out my faculty and staff, all of our teachers. We've been on this shift the last 6 months with some of our new things that we've been implementing, and we've been implementing since back in July. So I want to thank them, and not just them, like I said, everybody in my district that pours into kids every day, from our cafeteria staff, our bus drivers, all of our auxiliary staff, every single staff member that comes to Cold Spring, Oakhurst, CISD every single day that are pouring into our kids in whatever their role, regardless of their role.
Yep.
But at the same time, making sure that our teachers understand how much influence and impact they have on our kids every single day, and definitely appreciate all of their hard work. We've, like I said, battled this COVID wave back with Delta back in early in the fall, and here we are again. You know, and they make it all work.
That's right.
They work through it, and so definitely want to a huge shout out to my instructional staff. We've been having to juggle some classes here and combine some classes, and they come in, and so just continuously advocating for them and all they do. Like I said, I tell people all the time, the most important work happens in the classroom.
That's right.
And so just having them understand that they are truly valued and appreciated, my board for entrusting me with the opportunity to lead our district. And then also, like I said, my central office staff as well. I have a really phenomenal team, and we're continuing to build that team and work in partnership to impact and shape the lives of our students.
What's the best piece of advice he's given you? So he just got done with his year and a half. I just want to know give me some sage advice he's handed down.
Yeah. So
Brian gives me advice.
I'm trying to think.
Hey, because you gotta have.
Yeah, we do, and we pour into one another.
Good.
This is year 4 in superintendency for me, and this is
2.
Year 2 for Daryl. So we really support one another. He may ask for something, or you can ask him. I'll just send him a whole file. Like, hey, you can just use that and put it in your professional file and use as you see fit. But when we talk, like I said, it's always, like I said, as frat brothers and as friends and colleagues, we always are supporting one another. He knows that I'm rooting for him. He's rooting for me, and that's just what we do.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it. And then he and I have been, within probably last year, got to know each other a little bit better, and he's been a guest and somebody that I've admired from afar, but now I've had some opportunity to talk kids and to talk the business of school and how we go about our business. But
and like I said, we're the youngest. We're probably we're some of the youngest of the crew, of the superintendent crew across the state. Yeah. So we definitely, like I said, support one another. We both grew up in the Houston area, and like I said, we both ventured out. He ventured out, and it's been all over the state. I haven't traveled as much across the state as he has, but I've also ventured out of the metropolitan areas also. So, but definitely, like I said, a good friend of mine, brother of mine. So we're always rooting for one another.
Well, like I said when we started, two rock stars in the making. So I appreciate y'all joining me. And I mean, you're gonna have to join me again. Maybe we can make a little road trip out to Cold Spring Oakhurst, to Marlin. Well, I know
you all are welcome anytime in Marlin.
Come on out, please do.
I'd love to do something on site with the kids. And let's see all the good things that are going on.
Yeah, we definitely need to make that happen, because right now I've started doing kind of like bi-monthly, or just kind of update the school community on just things that are happening.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we have an audio visual program over at the high school. So I've been getting the kids involved. They've been doing some little mock interviews.
That's
and all
awesome.
That. So that'll be great to come out.
And that's why this is a great piece of that, because it's not near as intensive as obviously a station or what have you. So great opportunity there. So well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
And
thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. We'll look forward to having you guys back.
Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Thank you.
All right.